All right. Welcome to another episode of Tech Tuesday. My name is Gerald. I'm here with our co-host, Alex.
What's up?
We're going to hit that intro. And we're back. So, Alex, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Still working from home. My wife keeps the house at approximately 68 or 69 degrees. So, even though it's about 500 degrees outside, I am still wearing long sleeves.
It is so hot. I saw someone posted on Facebook today. It was 85 degrees at like 4 a.m. this morning. And
And
that
it makes no sense.
makes no
I mean,
sense
I
at all.
swear when I wake up in the morning, all of my windows are like fogged out because it's freezing inside of my house, and it's basically like feels like the desert outside this one. But hey, Florida, that's what we signed up for, right?
It is. We got the beach though. So,
Right, right. So, Gerald, how's the
yeah.
office?
It's good. It's good. It's cold here, but not that cold. Not as cold as your house.
Yeah, true that. One thing that we have been doing quite a bit of recently, and you've been spending a lot of your time on, I know, is vulnerability scanning,
Yeah, yeah,
internal and external, of course. But a lot of people don't even understand the importance of vulnerability scans or what they even are.
yeah.
It's kind of what I've learned over the last few years. So let's talk about that today. Let's talk about what vulnerability scans is, the importance of it, and what it looks like, kind of what it does.
Exactly.
Uh, so what I'll go ahead and do is I will go ahead and I'll read the formal definition of a vulnerability scan. But following that, can you put it into human words for us so that everybody out there listening? Sorry, I hit the mic. By the way, got a new setup for Tech Tuesday. Got my
I'm
new mic.
jealous. I love your mic. I love it.
Yeah, y'all can hear me a little better now. Anyways, so vulnerability scanning is this is the real definition of it is an inspection of the potential points of exploit on a computer or network to identify security holes. A vulnerability scan detects and classifies system weaknesses in computers, networks, and communications equipment and predicts the effectiveness of countermeasures.
Mm.
So, can you put that into layman terms for us, Gerald?
Yeah. So, in layman terms or human words, basically, when you have a network, there are different exploitable things in the OS, in the way that you have maybe your website server hosted. Like all of those things are pointed outward, especially for an external scan. And vulnerability scans from different companies and products will scan your entire network. They'll scan your server, they'll scan your computers, they'll scan the OSs that you're running, and just make sure that everything is up to par with the known malicious vulnerabilities that are out there. And then a professional, security professional goes through, categorizes them, and helps you come up with a remediation plan to deal with any of those vulnerabilities that might have shown up. And so that's just part of the deal when you have a network that is externally facing, especially when have a server hosting a website for your company or different things like that on your network. An external scan is crucial to keeping that network safe and secure.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in today's day and age, and I say today's day and age, meaning the last several months,
Mm-hmm.
most of us are working from home. Like we have what, two people in the office right now, and those people change what we have to, of course, with the data center. But most organizations, they don't have to have somebody in the office, so they're all remoting in, and so security and having a secure network or infrastructure, that's everything right now, because I mean it's more vulnerable than ever. People are remoting in from their homes. Like me, I remote into our office from my house, right?
Yeah.
So we need to have the proper measures set up in place. So I mean that's an external scan, right?
Yep.
You're going and looking at any security vulnerabilities that exist, and identifying them so they can
Yeah. And that's
talk
that's
about.
for externals. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the other side. when you're actually inside, the internal vulnerability scan and the importance of it.
Yeah, so an internal scan is very similar. It's going to go through OSs, it's going to go through ports that might be open on your computer, different things that are known vulnerabilities, but it's going to think about it from an internal perspective. If somebody actually got into your network, how much could they move around? What can they access? So if I got onto the receptionist computer, how easy is it to move all the way up to the CEOs, right? How can I move to an important data server from just one access point? So you got to think about it as an internal scan, checking the ports of the network inside. So servers, computers, all the operating systems going on in there are going to get checked for any kind of lateral movement between PCs and computers inside. So those are really like two halves of a very important coin to have for your security setup, your security situation. You want to make sure from the outside it's hard to get in and there's no vulnerabilities wide open that are known about. But then on the other side, if somebody was to get in, where could they go and what could they access? So both of them need to be checked regularly. We do these quarterly for clients sometimes. So just to make sure nothing pops up and there's no out of date updates, all these different things. So that's the importance of a vulnerability scan for both internal and external, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it's crazy the amount, there's so many moving pieces in our technological world today, right? It's even a simple website, right? A WordPress site, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
They're not necessarily known for their security, but they have security vulnerabilities pop up all the time. And along with that are all of the plugins that websites have. So, for our hosting clients, I know every single month we go in and we do all of the updates for the sites that we host, but also all of the plugins that are affiliated with the site or on the site.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many areas where an organization can fail from a security standpoint.
Yep.
And it's so hard to really kind of understand all. That's why this.
If you think about it too, right? When you're even just using your own personal PC, how often does it tell you it has an update? So we're talking once a month at least. There's some kind of, even if it's not a new feature, it's some security patch, it's something like that. So think about in your business, if you have 5, 10, 15, 500 computers, all of those things need to be updated. Then you're not even talking about your servers. You're not even talking about your firewalls and your other network devices that need to be updated for just general security patches. So this is something that when you have management, we take care of that stuff and we make sure things are staying up to date and they're patched and all of that. But this is just that extra layer of making sure there's nothing that got left behind. There's nothing that maybe is old and isn't being used very often. And now all of a sudden is now a big vulnerability because it has access to all these other servers and computers. So vulnerability scans is that extra layer of security to help you make sure things are patched and secure the way they need to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and what's very important following this is the next step, right? So remediation, of course, but I think an additional measure that people need to at least take into consideration is having a pen test done for the organization. There's different types of pen tests. We'll dig into that next week. Actually, next week we will be discussing penetration testing. But and internal and external vulnerability scans show you where the vulnerabilities are.
Yeah.
So that you can remediate it. But a penetration test, you're actually trying to penetrate from externally or internally. You're trying to penetrate into these vulnerabilities that exist. So a lot of times, penetration testers actually utilize vulnerability scans in the process in the early stages of doing the penetration test, which is kind of funny, but it's pretty awesome. So, anyways, something to take into consideration, something we will be digging into next week, actually much deeper, and we're actually going to have a third person on the line with us next week. But that is a surprise. So, to not keep anybody any longer, if you want to learn more about what a vulnerability scan is or the importance of it and the difference between external and internal. If we didn't make it clear at all today, or if you want to go ahead and do one for your company, give me a shout, give Gerald a shout, call our office, and we'd be happy to chat with you.
Yep.
At the very least, give you some helpful hints or tips, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We're living in weird times right now, and all we can do is try to help each other in the best possible ways. And we can't work if our company has been breached. So let's try to prevent all that so we can all keep working.
Exactly. Thanks, guys, for joining another Tech Tuesday. Looking forward to our surprise guest host next week, and we'll be talking about pen tests, which is super fun. So hope you guys have a great Tuesday. We'll see you next week.
Bye.